Today I'm here to show you the new Graco Reactor 3 XP2. Now it's a new generation machine. It's got all the bells and whistles. This is the elite model, which is the top of the range. So basically what that means is that from drum to gun, it's basically completely controlled by the machine. So you pretty well guaranteed that you're going to have 100% on ratio every time you pull that trigger. Okay, what are the main features of the new Graco Reactor 3 XP2? It's a smaller footprint, it's a little bit narrower, it's a bit lower as well, so it takes up less room on your truck or in your premises. Another great feature of the Reactor 3 are the new Reactor electric Core E1 pumps, transfer pumps. These are a great concept. They fit on to the lower pumps of the T4s. So if you were to buy T4s, you could later on upgrade to the Core E1 pumps. Much quieter, much more efficient as well. These are a great complement to the machine. Also, because they're electric, you don't need air to operate these, so your compressor can be a little bit smaller as well, because you don't need as much capacity. So once again, you can downsize that and have a smaller footprint in your truck or in the on your premises as well. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the machine. Very simple, we've got the main switch on the side. So basically, turn it on. It'll come up with the main screen. At this point, it's doing its diagnosis, just checking that all the systems are okay before we fire up. Okay, now we have got the main screen coming up. Now for those that have used the Reactor 2, you can see that it's completely different to the old system. All our adjustments are on this main screen. So just to go through a couple of things, so we've got our capacity or the amount of fluid in the drums. There on the outside. Now the A and B, these are control the our electric pumps. In the centre we've got our temperatures. Now this is for product temperatures, but also for the hose temperatures. Now unlike the Reactor 2, the Reactor 3 you can control the each individual hose temperatures. So whatever you set your product at, you're going to set your hoses at. So at the moment we've got our O side or our ISO side at 55. So technically I'd probably want that to be at 60. So we go to 60 here. Now that has changed the hose temperature, but also the product temperature coming out of the machine. And over here on the resin side, generally I run it, for our product, we run it at about 55 degrees, but of course that all determines, you know, environment and product substrate temperatures and things like that. That's generally where I start at, then adjust from where we need to it. So just going over that again, so the heater hoses are individually heated, so you can adjust what the hoses are doing. So they're going to be set at the same as what the machine is set at. Then we've got down here is basically our control panel for the machine. Our pressure at the moment set at 2.5 PSI, 2,500 PSI. I've got a 2929 tip in the gun that's on that machine. So this is generally where I set it at. Sometimes we need to change it, depends on, once again, environment and pressures and temperatures. Now the main, also the difference here to control our machine, you've got the picture of a gun, so this is basically ready to start spraying. But if you want to go into jog mode, which this machine has, you press it, so we've got spray, then we've got the circle, which is the jog mode, and we've also got park, where on the earlier machines everything was on the side. So we were on the spray mode, now we're on the jog mode, so I've pressed that. Now we're on jog mode. You can control the speed once again just by plus or minus. Usually you don't want to go anything above 15, but it does go up to 20, but usually that's too fast. So 14, 15 is the way to go. This area here right on the right hand side, this is cycles, so you can actually tell the machine how many cycles you want to do it before it stops. So if you heat in the product, for argument's sake, you don't want it to overheat and you're not going to be in the area, you can put it on 100 cycles and off it goes. If you're recircling the machine just to keep it all fresh, you can also use it there as well. This is the cycles, so at the moment it's the cycles on jog mode, but that's easy, that can be easily reset. So that is where you would look when you are spraying and you want to see how many cycles it's done. This would just give you the cycles it's done since you reset it. So now the next area we want to focus on is this little rectangle with a scale on it. Now with the Elite machine, what can happen is that you can adjust, if your pressures are out by a certain percentage, it will automatically adjust the temperatures. So if your ISO's too high, pressure is too high, it'll adjust the pressure, it'll adjust the temperature up a couple of degrees, and it'll drop the resin down a couple of degrees. So it'll keep the pressure equal by adjusting the temperatures. When I go through the settings, I'll show you where that can be set. You can set it so it can be within a certain amount of degrees. So that's the main screen. If you want to adjust anything, basically you do it from here. So you can put the drum level in. For our drums, 200 kilos. So basically 200 kilos. So we go to that, and that will say that it's full. So all the adjustments are done on the main screen, where on the Reactor 2 you have to go to another screen before you to do any changes. But you can do it exactly on this machine, on this main screen. So buttons that you need to know. So this is on and off for our E1 transfer pumps. This will turn the heaters on for the machines on either side, and then of course we've got our on and off switch for our heaters. So now I'm showing you the core E1 transfer pumps. Now these are full electronic, there's hardly any maintenance within the top half of the pump. Now this pump will connect to your existing T4 lower pump. It's just a matter of unclipping and then removing your T4s and putting this on top. But it's also valuable if you've got extra lower pumps. You can have them ready in your drums. Just unclip and put your pump straight on top of straight on your new drum. So easy access, easy to do. So when you're swapping drums over, it's a lot easier. Now very quiet as well, but it's an absolute amazing concept, and being able to be controlled electronically. You can the Reactor 3 machine itself can speed up and slow these pumps down as it needs to, so it can keep you on ratio. It uses the pressure sensors on the inlet to control that, and it can control them independently as well. Now we're just going to go up to the control box, or the transfer pump control box. You've got your two pictures of your pumps. You've got your A side. Now when it's flashing the purple colour, they're online and ready to go. Now down here on the side we've got power, and it's picking up data. Now if there's an error within the box or any of the pumps, it'll come up with a red light on it. So very, very simple. It's easy to mount up, because when you purchase the machine, you have to hook up the hoses, hook up all the power lines up and everything. It's very, very simple. Now it needs its own power supply. Now here in Australia you need a 240 outlet. It does not run the main power from the Reactor 3, so it needs its own power supply. So you just want to make sure that that you've got access to that. Okay, so we've got the core transfer pump control box on. All the lights are flashing what they're supposed to be. Now, if we just want to recirc without the just with the transfer pumps, so what you can do is just press that button. So we're on jog mode at 15, so the green indicates that it's on. It's a matter of touching the B side. That will go as well. You can see it shows the pressures that it's doing on either side. And you notice how much quieter it is while they're operating. Now, so if we want to turn the heaters on, we just press the buttons A and B. The heaters are on. So this is basically showing us what the temperature is at the moment. Now, this temperature is actually what's in the heater assembly itself. The temperature of the product is just above the PSI. You can see they're both at 23 degrees, and they're running very, very closely together. One's at 54 and one's at 55. Now to turn the heaters on for the hoses, basically turn that on and off you go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the hose temperatures are set as the same as your product temperatures. So if you adjust your product temperatures, it's going to adjust your hose temperatures as well. Okay, so we're on our main screen. What I'm going to do now is show you the different pages we got. Now the next pages that we are going to go through, this is where you change your parameters. It is one of the major parts of this machine. There's quite a few parameters that you can change. What we'll do is, so we go to the home icon up the top here, we just press it, so you've got diagnosis, and then below that you've got your logs set up, and then there's just what they call advanced settings as well. So first of all, diagnosis, there are always, in each setting you go to, there's always the 4 sections. So you've got the machine set up, you've got your heater set up, you've got your pressures, and then you've got your auxiliaries, which are your transfer pumps. So while the machine is working, what it will display is everything that the machine's doing at any particular time. So basically here we've got what the temperatures are running at, what the pressures will be if the machine was running. Now if we scroll down, just go to the heaters, basically the same thing. It's got what the temperatures are set at and what they are at the time the machine's running. We've also got our loads, how many amps are being put into the heater system, if it's the hoses, or if it's the main heaters as well. Then down, it's our pressures, it's got our flow ratings, it's got our pressure settings and what the pressures are at the time that it's running, the temperatures, cycles for lifetime, and the cycles on the main page as well. There's also this icon just here. This is the override for the ISO lube pump. I'll go through that a little bit later on for during our maintenance. Then the fourth and the last are our pumps. So if the pumps were running at the moment, it would show you what pressures and temperatures that they're running at. Now the temperatures are, the sensors are on the manifolds where the filters are. This is another great part of the Graco machine. On the intake manifolds, there's a pressure sensor and also a temperature sensor, which will allows the machine to calculate what's coming in, what's going out, and it can do its automatic adjustments. Okay, so we go back to the icon, home icon up the top. So we've done diagnosis. We're going to logs. Now, basically, the first one is errors. As you can see, some of the errors that have come up. The transfer pump B ran away. Product was getting low, so it shut the machine down and shut the pump down. I did activate a couple of faults as I was getting ready for today's filming. We've got low voltage on the core TPC panel, so it's basically saying that there was no power getting to the control box for the transfer pumps. So just go back, and then we've got events. So the machine basically remembers and documents every movement or any switches, any changes in the machine. It will log it here on this screen. So if there is an event of an issue, you can go back and see if anything was changed that was going to affect the spraying of the product, or if it's got any other, if anything has been changed. So it's basically an event screen. Then we've got basically usage. So this gives you your usage over the day. So you can basically work out how much product you use through the day that you're spraying. So it's got ISO in litres, it's got the resin in litres, then it's got the total as well. So we go back here to the top of the screen, we press it, we want to go back to the home screen, and we've got setup. Now setup is basically where we change our parameters of the machine. But once again, we've got our icons here, we've got our pressures, so we'll press that. So now this is where we can start adjusting our pressures and our highs and lows, our limits. So this is where you would go to only if you want to change the parameters of the machine. So the first one is auto pressure balance. We've got that activated. So basically this is where the icon with the scales in the middle, this is what I've got set at 5 degrees. So it will adjust at a difference of 5 degrees to what it's set at. So technically at the moment we've got 60 and 55. What we would do is the machine would add 5 degrees or subtract 5 degrees at whichever pressure is higher and lower. So you can adjust that up to whatever you like, but just remember that it will take 5 degrees off the low pressure and add 5 degrees to the high pressure. So it's actually a 10 degrees difference between the two. Then now we've got this is the Elite model. So once you've activated the flow meters, your second choice is automatically delete. You can't control that. And then the imbalance. So at the moment I've got it set at 200. Now you might need to adjust that a little bit, but being the Elite, it should keep those pressures very, very close. Just sometimes you might get a bit of a slight fluctuation, so you may need to raise that a little bit, but it depends on each machine how it goes. But technically you shouldn't have to adjust that too often. Okay, so we've got smart control, which we've got switched on, which basically gives us our drum to gun system. So it'll adjust what it needs to make sure that you're on ratio. We've got the flow meters, which we've got on this machine as well. So we've got here a flow meter alarm. If it goes if it goes beyond the 10% mark, you basically the alarm will sound. So at the moment we've got pulses at 187.5, 185.9, so very, very close. It's only a couple of percent difference. So 10% is probably a little bit too high, but as a demo, it's set at 10%. So technically, if the pulses were beyond 18 pulses, your basically alarm will go off if there's a difference between the two. Then the bottom three, so this is our set point for our pressures. Now at the moment I've got it set at 2,500 psi because I've got a 2929 tip on this with the AP gun. So it's the smallest really tip you're going to use on this machine, so the pressures are a little bit lower. Now you can set that to anything, whatever pressure that you like. To change the pressure, you can press the icon, and then you can change it to 2800. Now basically what this will do is it will only allow the machine they only allow the setting on the main screen to go to 2800. So if you want to lock it in, you can do that, and then no one can adjust it any higher than that. So that's the maximum pressure. The one below it is minimum pressure. So with our product, with the XP2, with the tip, 1800 psi is as low as you can go. Now the jog limit, so that's basically when you've got your jog cycle on, it's got 100 cycles, but you can change that to whatever you like. So if you wanted to do a cycle, if it's you're doing maintenance and you're just recirculating the system, you can set it to 100, you can set it to 250, you can set it to whatever you like. Okay, so we'll just go back and we'll go to heaters. Now heaters, as I mentioned earlier, this machine, the way we've got it set up, there's only two settings for our hoses. It's either resistance, which is set on now, or you can go to manual. Now manual, you'll only use this when there's a problem with the machine, with the hoses. If you can't get a set of hoses, or you're not getting what you want, you can set it as manual. So we'll just turn that off. Now what it's going to do is say, okay, so you've got to set what amperage you want at it. So I think there's 3 settings you can do for memory, but definitely it's only for when there's an issue. If not, you have to. If not, you'd be on resistance. Now you've got the FTS system. Now our hoses, we don't use the FTS sensors or the probes, so it's not even the probes aren't even in the hoses. So when you do order hoses, you can get them either with the FTS or without, and at the moment we've got ours without. So that's cool. So we're on resistance. Now calibration. Now if you do any work on the hoses, what you need to do is calibrate. So if you change the whip hose, you change the main hose, or if you do any work on it, you need to calibrate. Now when you're calibrating, you must have product in the line, and it must be at room temperature as well. So to do the recalibration, or to calibrate, you press the calibrate. Yes, you want to continue. Yes, we do. So at the moment it's 20 degrees, which is pretty close to what it is today. So I'll just press accept, and that's it. And it's just changed just a little bit. Before it was at 419, now it's at 418, so which is pretty cool. So you can go down, so it's got a date when you're last calibrated. Below that is your power management. Now if you've got a generator system, what you can do is lower the wattage, so it's whatever your generator's rated at. Because if there is any fluctuation in the in the kilowatts, the machine will come up with an error and it will eventually shut down. So if you're using your generator and there's multiple equipment running off that generator, you're going to get fluctuations. So what you want to do is just make sure that you've got it set so we're not going to get any fluctuations. So the 15 kilowatts is the highest you can go on this, but you can go down to 10 kilowatts, which you don't want to go any lower than 10 kilowatts, because the lower you go your kilowatts, the less efficient your heaters are going to be. So you can enamel your maximum heat setting. So once again, when we go back to the main screen, you'll be able to set it up to 65, and the lowest point will be 55. So your minimum and your maximums are set there. You can readjust them, you can lock them into place as well. So that's the heater side. You just go back to the home icon. We go to systems. Now the systems, okay, Rhino line in Reactor, it's the name of the machine. It's an XP2. So you can enable custom pump sizes, which basically we've got standard, so turn them off anyway. Now we've got these four, the last four. Now these are for if you've got a light tower. So with the Reactor 3, what you can do is have a light tower. So if for all your inputs, you can, if I press that, so basically I can make it for this input here, you can go red, green or yellow. So those input, so if there's an issue, the light will flash. So if everything's green, we'll go green, but if there's other issues, it will go red. So basically that's what those four are there for the light tower. Okay, so system or supply system, which are transfer system. So we've got our electric pumps up here. So that basically can go either electric or air. If you've got air, it's going to blank out some of those parameters that you can change, because because it doesn't quite work with the air. So both on air. So basically. The only settings that you've got are what that are highlighted. So we'll go back to electric. Oh, sorry, go back, electric. Okay, so now that I've gone to electric, it's going to say that next time I start up, it's going to calibrate the pumps. Okay, so yes, we'll do that. We'll go to electric, so we can do that. Now, if you want, you can remotely calibrate. So we've got this icon just near the hoses. So if you want to calibrate, you press that button and then it'll go through the calibration system. So once again, smart supply, maximum chemical is there as well. So whatever your drum capacity is, that's what you want to have it as. You've got your alarm where when the chemical gets to a certain literage, the alarm will trigger. I've got it set at 10 litres. Really, I'd probably like to have that a bit higher, probably about 15, but my product's getting pretty low and I was getting had an alarm come on. So just make sure that you set it so you're not running out of product as well. So you've got inlet pressure sensors, inlet temperature sensors. Now they're the new sensors that are on the reactors, 3s, the Pro and the Elite. So that actually senses the pressure and the temperatures coming in. You can set a low inlet temperature. So if you want your product to stay at 45 degrees, well, you might have it set at 40, or you could even have it set at 45. So an alarm will come when your product gets below that temperature. Now, also got a high alarm. So you don't want to overheat your product. So you basically set that at usually probably 4 or 5, well, probably 5 degrees above what you want to keep it at. And the runaway pump, so at the moment with electric pumps, if they run away, they shut down for A and B sides, so that you adjust them separately. So it's a little bit on this one, but the explanations are pretty good, and the old ticket's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so that's basically up our setup page of the system. So I want to go back to the home page. The advanced. Sorry, I forgot that. Almost forgot the advanced. So the advanced, what it is it's just got now these Reactor 3, like the Reactor 2, have got a cellular module. These Reactor 3s, I'm pretty sure all of them are 4G. So we've got a 3G module in it at the moment. We got sent the 3G one instead of the 4G. So at the moment our cellular is not working. So basically it's got nothing up there. But definitely worth doing. Cellular access, you can access the machine on your phone with the Graco Connect app, and basically you can download off your phone or off your computer, so you can see exactly what's going on, especially for your Q&A. So it gives you all those extra advantages to go to have the cellular. So if it hasn't got it, I would suggest with the Pro and the Elite, when you order it, make sure it's got the cellular, because it just makes life so much more easier. So display basically just gives you your language, your format for your dates, goes down, how long it takes for the screensaver to come on, a password if you want to lock the system once you've got it set up, and then the temperature units. You can either be degrees or Fahrenheit. The pressures are PSI, and I think it's kPa is the other one, and the volumes are litres or gallons. Okay, now software. This just basically tells you what software is running at the moment. So the only parameter you can change here, if you are on the got the cellular module put in and you're online, what you can do is updates will automatically update as Graco puts them out. So at the moment it's got the serial number of the machine, the software part number, and the version that we're running as well. Okay, so that's basically our setup for our pages coming off the icon at the top end of the top left-hand side of the screen. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is basically get the machine ready for spraying. So first of all, we've got our temperature set. We want to make sure that that's all right. We've also got our pressure set. So if we want to change our pressures, as I mentioned, we did have a limit. So if I try to go to 2800, technically, it hasn't allowed me to do it. So because I've set the threshold at 2.5. So, but if I want to change that down to 2400, it's easy done. Or you can just scroll up and down the buttons to go up. So basically 2.5 is set, that's the size it will go. Now the heaters, it's you can either press the button to tap in 65 if you want, and that will get it up to 65, or you can scroll up and down with the plus and minus. So we just get it back down to 60. Okay, so now the machine's ready. We want to get our product up to temperature. So what we want to do is come to here. We want to go to jog mode. We want to turn our pumps on. We want to turn our heaters on. Then we turn our hose heaters on because we want to get them up to temperature as well. Now to start this, we basically press the pump. want to do for our product, we like to get the drum temperatures up to about 45 degrees. Okay, so we've reached 45 on our ISO side and our B side. So technically, what we want to do is just shut that down. Everything shuts down automatically with the pumps. The heaters are still going, but what we want to do now is go to spray mode. So we'll just go to spray mode. You can see the hoses aren't up to temperature yet because obviously we've only got 20 litres of product in each of the drums, so it's taken hasn't taken long to get up to that 45. So really, we really needed to wait for the hoses to get up to temperature, but for the demo that I'm doing at the moment, it's not going to matter too much at all. So what we want to do now is we're on spray mode. Now what we want to do is come down to the main manifold. What we want to do is just turn our main valves to the spray mode, and now we're basically ready to spray. So once I press the go button, okay, you can see our pressures are there are pretty close considering that we've just fired up. So now all I need to do now is go to the gun and press the trigger, and we're ready to spray. So as we spray this area right here, this will come up with the ratio of the two products. So basically ready to spray and ready to go. Now while I'm here on the screen, on the top up here, there will be a few different icons. Once you set your phone module, put it in place, it'll have that it's connected to the system, or if it's connected to the hard drive, to a server as well. But it's also got a GPS, so you know where your machine is. It's a bit unusual if you didn't know where your machine is, but this is great for Q&A because you can download off the machine onto your phone and onto your computers all the information you need for your quality assurance. So all you need is the Graco Connect app, and you'll be able to see. So if you're away, if you're off-site and you've got a couple of machines running in between, you can look at what machines are doing at what time. And of course, if one of your applicators has an issue, you can see what the machine's done and how it's been doing as well. So they're only about 100 PSI out, which is pretty good. So that's basically ready to go. So just before we, I'm just going to shut the machine down now and get ready so we can do a bit of spraying. So what we do is to shut down, we press the button, we turn the heaters off as well, and then before we park it, we need to release the pressures. Come down here. So release the pressures. Okay, we want to go to the screen, and now what we want to do is park. Comes up, remember to remind you to release the pressures. Okay, now another new feature of the Reactor 3 is the throat oil pump. Now this is an electric pump that basically feeds the throat oil to the top of the ISO shaft. Now this is to stop the ISO from gathering around the top and causing issues around due to ISO coming out of the top of the top seal. Now if you have a look just here at the pump, so you can see it's spinning away, so you can override it. So this has actually got an override system, so I'm just pressing it each time. Now when you change your throat oil, which you would probably change if the machine was being used a lot, maybe every 3 weeks. So So it's important to keep an eye on the throat oil. If it starts to go white or murky, I would suggest you change it. So it's really important that you do keep it clean and fresh, because if it gets too gluggy, you know, most of you have probably seen the throat oil, once it gets contaminated with ISO, it goes like jelly. So you don't want to be getting any jelly substance in the pump. Now, what I'll do is, if we can just go to the screen, I've gone to the diagnosis sheet. And I've gone down to the pressure. So this is the machine diagnosis, this is a heater, this is pressures. Now, to override the ISO pump, it's this icon here. So you just press it. So you just do it. So what you would do is just keep holding it until you flush the system out if you need to. Now, up here it's just got the amps that it's using to turn the motor. If those amps get too high, you'll know that it's getting too thick. So the higher the amps, the thicker the product, it's going to draw more power. So that's another way of seeing if the throat oil needs changing. So I'll just go again, just holding it down. It's just got the amps there. The thicker the product, the more amps it's going to need to turn the motor. So it would be a good idea just to have a look to see when it's brand new what it is. Then over time that would eventually go up as the throat oil gets contaminated with ISO. So we'll just go back to the main screen. And we're basically back to our home screen. Much easier to use than the Reactor 2. Now, one feature it doesn't have is it doesn't have recipes on this system, but not sure why Graco went for it, but here at Rhino Lining we found that people that use recipes really basically believed that those recipes were going to be the same, but most applicators would say that each day is going to be different because of environment, product temperature, and the actual job you're doing as well. So not too sure why they went away from it, but we never really ever used it that much because each job, each day is different. Okay, so what we've got, a couple of things I haven't spoken about is just the Graco insignia. Now, the light that's flashing, that's all, that's saying that everything is good. If it starts flashing quickly, it means that you've got a fault. So it's an idea to keep an eye on that. Now, technically, this will shut the machine down. It's not an emergency stop, but if you want to shut down quickly, press that button and everything will get shut off all at once. Other features on the machine that we need to look at are our filters. So we'll just go down. Now, the filters are a lot larger and they're a better system. When I go through the maintenance on the next section, I'll actually pull them apart and show you how the differences that they are. Now, if you've got a standard machine, you will have a smaller filter system. You won't have what the Pro and the Elite have got. Also, a couple of differences. There's a couple of sensors just behind here. There's temperature and pressure. Now, that's all part of the smart or the guaranteed ratio for this machine. So when you get your machine, that's one of the another difference you'll find as well. Some of the Pros, if you haven't ordered it, won't have it. They don't have it automatically, but if you're going to the Pro, just for the extra, I would get those, because then you can upgrade to an Elite by just adding some metering, and then you can also go to the E1s. Now, with the E1s, as I mentioned, they use the same lower pump as the T4s, so you can start off with T4s, then later on, if you want to upgrade, you can. So, you know, here at Rhino, what we do is we sell the Pro and the Elite models, because the Pro you can upgrade to the Elite quite easily, where the Standard there's many differences, so it's probably not going to be viable. So for our customers, the Pro and the Elite are the ones that are available. Okay, so now what I'm just going to show you are just a couple of maintenance things that we need to do with the Reactor 3. There's a couple of differences to the Reactor 2. First of all, with the Reactor 3, you get 2 bottles of the throat oil. Now, this basically, the big one is for the actual pump. But the smaller bottle, what Graco are saying these days is actually to give a couple of drops or just a little bit of throat oil to the B-side pump. Now they don't have a throat oil pump as such, but you know, it's just worth doing. I used to do it with the Reactor 2 anyway. I just don't know why it was sort of into me during my training, but just to give them a bit of a squirt, just to give it a bit of lubrication and just let everything just run that little bit smoother. But what we're going to do first of all is grab our trusty Graco grease gun and do our valves exactly like the Reactor 2, just a couple of pumps. So that's basically all you do for the control valves. Now, the old guy that trained me always said you should wipe the grease nipples, because if you're in a dusty environment, you could be in a workplace, or what could happen, grease can actually dust can attach to the grease, and then when you pump your first pumping, you're pumping in that dirt into the valve. Look, for this probably not so much, but you know, old habits die pretty hard. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is show you how to clean the filters out. Remember, PP, gloves and safety glasses, especially when you're working on the actual machine itself. So we just unscrew the fitting. Now you can see that the fitting is completely different to the old style. It's steel, it's stainless steel, so it's easy to put a spanner on it. It's got a big nut on it, so it's easy access. As you can see, the filter is completely different. It's got a whole new system for the Reactor 3. This is all in place. It gets held in place by the center stalk, so any time that you go to it, you know it's going to be in the right place. With the old style, if the filter didn't sit in properly, you had a chance that contamination could get past. Now, basically all good. We can screw this back on. So that's basically all done. Now the only other thing I would say to do would be to put grease on all your fittings when you remove them. You need to wash them out with some acetone or a like product, just to make sure you get all the product off it. At the moment I'm running some polylube in this machine, so there was no need to put any grease on. Now remember, first thing that you do after you've cleaned the filters, you need to turn your taps on, because if not, you're always going to get errors and you're not going to get product through as well. Now Graco say that the filters should be cleaned every day. For my peace of mind, I was taught that, you know, after you finished the night before, do all your maintenance at night after you finish the job. So when you come in the morning, you're ready to go. There's nothing worse but that's the way that I was trained. So you can either do it the night before or you can do it the next day. One thing is the product will be hot. So if it's 60 degrees, you might want to have to wait till it cools down. So if the product is hot and you haven't got the time, doing it the next day is going to be fine. But don't forget, you know, some products are up around the 70 degree mark. So there is an issue with getting burnt, so creating injuries. So just make sure that you know that you plan your day, do your maintenance, because if you do your maintenance, the machine will last you forever. Okay, that's basically the end of this demonstration. If you've got any questions about the Reactor 3 or any of the Rhino products, you can get in contact with our sales staff. You can contact me at Rhino. My email address is tech@rhinolinings.com.au. If you want to know any more about our line of products, you can go onto our website. That's rhinolinings.com.au. Just make sure that you go the AU. If not, you might be taken to the US site, which can get a little bit confusing because we've got different products in different regions of the world, but definitely worth getting on there. You can also see where applicators are located, so it's definitely worth going to have a look. Once again, thanks guys, and see you next time.